Yo, yo, yo. First stream of 2026. Welcome. Welcome back, I should say. Hope you guys had a good little holiday break and that you are super excited about the new year. Drop an LFG in the chat. Let me know if everybody can hear. Oh, I got to kill my stream here, so we don't have any duplicates. I'm also, while you guys say hello in the chat, let me get all my windows configured. It's been a couple weeks. Okay, comments and reactions, there we go. Okay, I can actually read what you guys are saying. Fantastic. All right, I'm gonna pull up, before we really get started here, I gotta pull up Docker and I wanna get local running and see, got a little bit, maybe we can do a little sneak peek stuff too. Bind run dev. Okay, let's see if we can get Docker going. And yeah, we're gonna take a look. Main thing we're doing today, we're gonna take a look at this new flexnav component that I built. It's actually a little collection of components. We're gonna take a look at how Etch enables this sort of thing. And we're gonna challenge the notion that, first of all, let's just make sure that we're all on the same page. I have never seen a navigation component, plugin, whatever, in any page builder, in just freestanding plugins. They all suck. They all suck. They're just all atrocious. They're all terrible. They're all terrible. I've never had a good experience with one. You guys know, it was one of the rants that I would commonly go on, where I'd be like, people would be like, show us how to use the advanced menu system in Bricks. And I was like, no, like unsubscribe. No, I hate it. It's the worst experience imaginable in almost every scenario. They were awful in Oxygen. They're awful everywhere. Some are easier than others, but they're all pretty much awful. And, I've been challenging this notion. My philosophy for a very long time now has been, because everybody tells me, Kevin, you don't care about beginners. Kevin, you don't care about lay people. And then I made the distinction. I said, well, I care about beginners for sure. How could you say I don't care about beginners? Like, I'm the only one really truly educating beginners. What do you mean I don't care about beginners? Like, where are you? Where are you? I'm the only one educating them. So where are you? How are you going to say I don't care about beginners? Now, I don't care about lay people. Okay, I don't care about, if my mom wants to build a bunko, I just tell her, hey, mom, go to Wix, or I'm sure they have a template for you or something. Go do that. Like if somebody's not interested in learning how to do the work, then yeah, I'm not about them. I'm not about the bevs, right? But if you wanted an interface for Bev to be able to easily edit things for you, or you wanted to be able to build a website that Bev could tweak and adjust very easily, you would need a pro tool to do that, and you would need pros to build the thing to make it easy for Bev. That's what you would need. That's why we need the pro tools and we need the pro people in order to ultimately serve these lay people that everybody seems to care so much about, right? That's what I've been saying. And so that was my biggest criticism of the block editor, for example. Everybody's like, well, the block editor is designed for everybody. And I'm like, it's not, actually. It's not. It's tailored for lay people. And thus, advanced people like you and me, pros, we can't work in it. We can't use it. And then there's people who will say, well, Kevin, that's not true. I mean, look at, and then they come out with products like, people think I'm picking on him, but, he kind of deserves it. The creator of Ollie comes out with this menu system, this new menu system. Oh, look at this menu builder, built in Gutenberg and the block editor. Of course, there's all these block editor builders too. And I always say, they're like, have you looked at, people ping me all the time, have you looked at so-and-so builder? And I'm like, it uses the block editor. If it uses the block editor, I don't give a fuck about it, because it doesn't matter how powerful it is. The experience of using it is ruined by the block editor. The block editor is not a page builder. The block editor is not a development environment. The block editor is a glorified content editor. That is all it is. That is all it will ever be. And so stop trying to get me to build pages inside of the blockhead. That's not what it's for. It's not what it's good at. It's not what it, that's what they wanted it to do, but that's not what it does. So we're getting started early today, boys. Boys and girls, we're getting started early today. All right. Anyway, they come out with this menu builder. And I watched the little video. And by the way, first I read the comments. I always read the comments first because I got to see how much know-nothings are just going to absolutely glaze this kind of shit. And they're just glazing all over the comment section. And then I watched the video. I'm like, whoa, it must be amazing. This thing must be, case closed. I watched the video. Immediately, I just see like the most disjointed workflow imaginable, the most chaotic, the most magic area. It's the magic area of all magic areas workflow. And I'm like, and this is what, and this is why you see the same thing. You go to like an element or new element or feature video, new element or release video. I go to the comments just fucking glazing the most basic shit imaginable, right? Divi, same thing. Just glazing like, it's like, hey, we have hover styles after 9 years of development, and there's glazing, just like, it's like, it's mind numbing to me. It's mind blowing. It's mind numbing. It's whatever. But anyway, the reason I call this out, rightfully so, is because when I come in and I say, guys, if we want to really serve beginners, if we want to serve beginners, it's all about education. If we want to serve lay people, we've got to have professional tools with the power to build something that's actually easy for them. Okay? Something workable for them, something custom for them. That's what we need. We can't be doing our work in the block. And they all tell me, no, shut the fuck up, go away. Nobody wants to hear your opinion. You're not for these people. You're not, like, they're trying to exclude me, right? I'm the one being like, no, like, this is how it would be done. So I say all this to just show you, because when I'm going to show you this nav, I literally almost think like maybe with 5 minutes of coaching, talking to Bev, even Bev could maybe do it. And the point is, and by the way, this was created in like 3 hours. Okay, like 3 hours of work, just thinking about, okay, how do we make this modular? How do we make it easy? 3 hours of work. It's easier than all their shit. It's easier than all the people who told me to shut up. It's easier than all their shit. So yeah, I'm gonna get on a live stream and we're gonna make sure everybody knows that and realizes that. Okay. Because it's the same thing. They also, it's like, oh, you don't care. Like the only guy educating doesn't care. Okay. All right. Great story. All right. I've got one Docker pulled up. Let me get the other Docker pulled up, and then we're going to get straight into this. We're going to look at the nav. We are going to answer PB101 question. I'm fired up. I'm kicking ass and taking names in 2026. You got to understand this. Okay. The warm-up suits are off. I've had my warm-up. I've had the whole team. I've had the joggers on since 2020. Okay. We've all, like, everything so far has just been warm-up phase. And I finally was like, okay, all right, I'll just put myself in the game now. Okay, let's take the warm-up suit off. Let's go ahead and actually play now. It's 2026 is the year. All right, let me get into cursor here. Let's see, got to get a workspace open. I know you can't see anything yet. You're not supposed to be able to see anything. It's okay. By the way, it is some people don't like when I criticize other people or call them out. And I've tried to explain this before. I only do it, okay? I only do it when remember that attitude I was talking about of that dismissing of like, oh, you don't care about these people. You don't, we don't need to hear from you, right? And they have this counter opinion. And the counter opinion is so like, I don't even know the word for it. Like, it has this underlying like better than attitude almost, right? And it's just an obnoxious degree of like what I would call overconfidence, okay? And Like they even tell me like, that's not how the world works anymore, Kevin. That's not how the world works anymore. Like I don't live in reality with everybody. Like it's just, it's so dismissive and ridiculous. And then they come out with hot garbage, right? If that's how you're going to act, you can't come out with hot garbage. I'm not coming out with hot garbage. So why are you dismissing me? But you come out with hot garbage. Like it's just, it doesn't compute. So you can't get away with that. You're not allowed to act like that. You can't act like that and then come out with trash. It's not how this works. Okay. I gotta stay focused. Let me see. NPM run dev. Okay, let's pull this up. Let's make sure local. I'm also gonna show you Selector School. Okay, we're gonna do something fun in S3 of PB101 called Selector School. And I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna give you a sneak peek of that in just a second. Is automatic CSS on local working or not? Let's see. I mean, we don't have to use local. I just wanted to see if we could pull up some sneak peeks for you guys, because I know you guys like a lot of sneak peeks. Let's see if the dashboard will open on local. Okay. Let's see. Oh, good. Thank you, Anthony. I really, really appreciate it. A lot of really good feedback. People are like, I was concerned because I was like, man, there's a lot of magic in the first version of PB101. And I was worried if we were going to be able to recreate some of that. And everybody, for the most part, people are like, hey, this new one is even way better than the first go round. I know it's better structured. And better organized, because I actually like the first version of PB101 was, the videos were gigantic. They were very long. Each lesson was because there's only 19 lessons. So I think we're up to 19 already or something, right? So very long lessons, and then just teaching a lot in each lesson. And it was kind of structured, but it wasn't a process. It wasn't a systematic approach. And now we have the systematic approach. I know for sure, way better structure. All right, I don't know what's going on with, like, Etch is working on local. I don't know. Oh, I think Etch is working on local. Let's see. If we can't get it going on local, I had to restart my whole computer. The resources were just, like, out of control. I had, like, 100,000 apps open, and I tried to free up some RAM. It wasn't working. I just had to get a clean slate, and now shit's not opening on local, so... We'll come back to it. We'll go straight into the nav talk. Okay, let's go ahead and share screen. We don't want to do nonsense for too long. Let's get into it. The Hunzi definitely way better. Well, good, fantastic. Okay. All right. EDD live January. Let's go with that. We're gonna build a little header, which I think is good, because we'll maybe look at Stripe.com. Everybody uses their mega menu system as like some sort of like benchmark. Like, hey, can you build this thing? So we'll kind of do a little bit of that. But everybody's always asking about headers and such. So I'm just gonna launch Etch here, and I'm gonna go straight over to templates and get into the index template. And we'll just whip up a quick little header. So I'm gonna call this header, I'm gonna change the tag to header, and then I'm just gonna move it to the top. By the way, we have a header, like that's it. So if you're wondering like, how do you make a header? That's literally how you make a header. Now we make it a component and things like that if we really wanted to continue deploying this everywhere in other templates and such, but I'm gonna go ahead and drop an SVG in here for our logo. Let's call this logo, and let's grab this, and let's grab this, and let's use this media. Let's give it a class of logo while we're here. Why don't we, just do the header, do the header inner kind of thing. Make this easy for styling purposes. Okay, so inside of this inner, what we're gonna do is we are going to build a little nav, and we're going to start with a basic nav, and we are going to then maybe add some simple drop downs, and then we are going to get into the mega menu territory, and then we'll check everything on mobile as well. again, let me explain the background of this. We already have a basic nav that you can copy and paste in. And that is a loop-driven navigation. It essentially builds itself. You go to the loop manager, this basic nav JSON file comes with Etch, essentially. And so you can just put in all of your links. It supports children. It supports 3 levels. So you get a drop down and a fly out if you wanted to. Again, the entire thing is loop-based. It just builds itself dynamically as you fill out the JSON. It's very easy. It's very clean. It's very straightforward. When we have external JSON support, you'll actually be able to have a client edit an external file. You can actually build a UI for this if you're keen on doing it, that just pipes the JSON straight in here. And then you could give that UI to your client. You could, like, whatever you wanted to do. We already had this. And I've shown this off before, and it's very, very easy to build a nav that supports drop downs and flyouts and that already has a mobile menu and yada, yada, yada. But there are a lot of people who said, well, 2 things, Kevin. 1, I just am allergic to JSON or something. And so I want a more manual or manual/dynamic approach, something that's not JSON driven, maybe something that is more traditional in the sense of like a menu builder, so to speak. Okay, so there were those people. And then there were also the people that were like, well, I need a mega menu, right? This thing is great, it's fantastic, but it doesn't do mega menus. And so how are we gonna do mega menus? And so I was just chilling and I was like, maybe I should just, all right, I'll take a look. I'll see what I can come up with. Maybe just get in the kitchen a little bit, grab some spices and start clanking some pans together and like see what we can do. And so now there is a component-based nav called the flexnav that I've come up with, okay? This is not an official element as part of our Elements API yet, or Components API, mainly because the Components API doesn't exist. I would have put it in through the Components API and probably made it official, but we need to work on that. That's kind of first on the slate right after V1 official is released. But as you can see here, there is a flexnav, okay, component. There is a flexnav item component. There is a flexnav dropdown component. By the way, everything that you're about to see here, you can build in Etch. Nothing exists behind the scenes. There's no specialized stuff happening behind the scenes. There's no external code being referenced. There's no nothing. Everything was built literally directly in Etch, okay? So if you're looking at the components and how they're working, you're looking at the props, you're looking at things like slots, you're looking at all of that is native functionality inside of Etch. Literally anybody could have sat down and done this, okay? I just decided to be the one to do it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a flex nav to this header. Now, inside of the flex nav, you're gonna see this slot, which is called top level. So this flex nav is kind of the control system for everything that's happening inside of it. And literally all we have to do if we want our first item on the page is come do a flex nav item, okay? So I put a flex nav item, I'm going to get an item on the page. Now this is showing up pretty much like below this, this header. So I'm gonna come in here and just hit display flex and align items to the center. If you haven't seen the mini GUI in action, the mini GUI is an absolute like dream. This came out honestly. And by the way, this is only V1 of the mini GUI. But I was like, I'm pretty sure, I can kind of engineer, and of course, a lot of help from the design team and all of that. But I'm pretty sure I can engineer a better idea than like styling panels. And I was like, there's going to be maybe 3 outcomes to this. Outcome 1 is like, it's good enough to where we can replace styling panels, but people might miss the styling panels. Okay, that's like outcome number 1. Outcome number 2 would be like, it's obviously a little bit better. And so like the vast majority of people are just gonna wanna use this instead. That was like possibility number 2. And then possibility number 3, which I didn't actually expect, is it just murders styling panels. And it just makes styling panels obviously just like you would look at styling panels and get sick to your stomach. You would just be like, what are we doing here? What are we doing with these styling panels? Why don't you have a mini GUI? Like it just kills them. The entire concept of styling panels is dead in the water now. That's how good it actually is. And this is it's not even, it's already there. And this is the surface level iteration of it. It's not even like in its final form. It's just proof of concept phase. And the POC version kills styling panels. That's how good it is. Okay. Anyway, as you can see here, I now have a nav item up here. Now let's just make this home. So I'm going to say home and I'm going to throw in a /. And so let's just save here and let's go to the front end of the website. And you see, I have my logo and I have my link up here that says home. So I've got a logo, I've got a header on the page, I've got a logo on the page, and I've got a navigation on the page, and there is an item in the navigation, okay? As Rob says, style panels just absolutely. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Chat's doing well today. Yeah, Zach has a JSON UI plugin coming to the Etch Circle this week. That's going to be exciting stuff. There's a lot of really cool stuff that the community is putting together in a whole bunch of ways. Okay, so already where our nav is going. Now, I'm just gonna go like duplicate this a few times, okay? And then this is gonna be about, and I would just say that the link, okay, is about. And then I'm gonna come in here. Now, by the way, you can label these things, okay? So if I wanted to say about, and I wanted to say home. So you can, if you need to label these to give extra clarity in the structure panel, you always can. This is the name of the component, but this is the name of the instance of the component. And then this one, I'm just gonna like make stuff up as we go. So services is gonna go to services. These aren't actually real pages on the site, right? This would be like contact us, and then this might go to contact. And then this would be like, let's say sign up, okay? Or how about join now? Join now, and the link would go to join. Now let's just save. Let's go to the front end, and there is, let's say you need an ultra basic navigation. You're like, and this is why I call it a flexnav. It is a flexible navigation. Do you just need a basic row of links? Flexnav, 5 seconds, you're done. Okay, that would have been 5 seconds. If I wasn't rambling the entire time, that would have been 5 seconds, okay? Do you need some simple drop-downs? FlexNav. Do you need a mega menu? FlexNav. Do you need some drop-downs, some mega menus? FlexNav. Okay, it's just, it kind of just cooks, right? All right, now look at this. We're gonna go, and we're gonna go here, and we're just gonna see, boom, okay? We gotta work some styling with our position of our burger here. But if I click this button, let me get this stupid panel out of the way. It's taking up too much real estate. This is what you get out of the box. Out of the box, you're like, oh, you get a little navigation header. You get a home, your about, your services, your content, it's all there. And you get this X right here that you can close. And that X is actually the same burger trigger that's sitting right there, okay? Now, I've been debating whether the alignment of this burger icon should kind of be handled internally, or if we should maybe handle it with the parent wrapper like this inner, okay? See, I just did one little click in the mini GUI, and now the burger's where I want the burger to be. I just did that from the parent. And that's another thing is like, should we let the user do this kind of stuff from the parent, or should we kind of bake it into the component a little bit? These are some UX questions that I've been rattling around with. But I mean, look at this. I mean, to get just a simple nav that's like, and it's not a duplicate nav. It's not a duplicate nav. It's one element. Okay, like we can look at the DOM here. We can look at the DOM. So we're gonna inspect. Right. Let's bring up the DOM panel here. Which panel did I hide? I mean, it's pretty gorgeous, you know, when you look at it. So you just see a nav, then you get your UL, then you get your LIs, then you get your A's. There's no shenanigans going on here, right? This is on mobile, right? We click, it's got all the accessibility features that you need baked in. It's keyboard navigatable. Okay, I need to change my primary color. I really dislike this one. Let's go here. Let's do some sort of purple or bluey purple. Okay. Shift Command O, let's get that out of there. And now I got a good, okay, now you can actually see. So we can keyboard navigate. It's gonna announce everything. If I go in here to the actual nav, you're gonna see I can name them. So you can actually throw this in the footer as well. This name is also the ARIA label for the nav. So it will announce as primary navigation. If I throw one of these in the footer, I'll name it footer. It'll announce it as footer navigation. So you can have multiple on the same page, all good to go. You can have, we'll talk about the offsets, the mobile breakpoint, which is a very interesting way that this was done. And then you can choose whether you want to hover or click, and this is to control the drop-down behavior. But of course, we don't have any drop-downs yet. Now, let's say that we wanted to put in a drop-down. So I want to replace services with a drop-down of my services. So what I'm going to do is I am going to delete that, and I'm going to come in here, and instead of choosing a flexnav item, I'm going to choose a flexnav drop-down. I'm going to call that drop-down services, okay? And I'm just going to hit save. Now, I have a new slot. What should I put in the slot? How about another item? Let me go to, I clicked the wrong shortcut. I'm gonna go nav item, okay? So now I have an item in the dropdown. I spelled services wrong. Let's fix that. That's gonna offend my OCD. Okay, so now I have a services dropdown with one item in it, okay? And I gotta get my alignments right with my join now, or did I knock something out of the slot? I think I knocked something out of the slot. Let's throw that back in. Let's throw that up there. There we go, save and refresh. Okay, all right, we'll figure that out later. Oh, actually, hold on. Let's go look at this. Services, slot. Oh, we might have to do this on the original because I copied this in here. So let's see. FlexNav, save. Unless I broke something before the stream, which is highly possible because I was working on this 5 minutes ago. Let's take this out. Let's go back. Let's try one more time. Let's throw in a drop down and then we'll go check the source. If the source is broken, I broke it right before the stream, which would be unfortunate, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and grab this slot and go with FlexNav item dropdown. What I see, and we can actually also debug it together as well. Okay, let's go to patterns. Let's go check the source. Check the source. Layout. As our users will attest to, this was working. The version they have access to was working. The question is, what did I do to it right before the stream? Okay, we want to go all layouts. We want to go to FlexNav. Let's view. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this one is functioning. Let's see, edit with etch. Let's take a look. Okay. Next, nav drop down div FlexNav item. Oh, what did I choose? Okay, let's choose this. FlexNav dropdown, label dropdown. Is this my, okay, this is the sandbox. All right, so dropdown, let's go test. Dropdown is standard. Let's go with a UL, save. Let's check one more time on the front end. There we go. Okay, great, fantastic. I think what it actually might be, let's try this div. Ah, okay, found a little bug. So you can choose between a div or a UL. And apparently there's a little styling quirk in the CSS that I wrote where if they've chosen div on a standard dropdown, it looks like it's not working because that has to be a UL because you need a sub list inside of your main list. But if you're doing a mega menu, you would want a div instead of a UL, okay? So let's put this at UL. Okay, let me make note of this 1 second. Let me go, otherwise I'll forget and then it won't get fixed for a while. Let's open this. Okay, so let me make a little note. All right, FlexNav, position of links break in standard dropdown when div is chosen for the tag instead of UL, save. Okay. All right, good. I can fix that after the stream. All right, so we have a UL. Let's go back to the front. All right, we can kill the pattern site. We don't need that anymore. All right, there's our test. Click me. Let's make it not say test anymore. So we're going to say services. Okay, so boom, boom. Now, let's try that all again from default. So we deleted our services. This is how easy it actually should be if we weren't running into the bug. So we hit flexnav dropdown. That's going to give you the dropdown slot, and you're just going to put an item in the slot. Come in, say, hey, this is my services. I'm going to choose the UL. I'm going to hit save. We're going to go to the front end. And now we've converted services into again, a very basic dropdown. Now, one thing that is very common these days is instead of hover, people are liking clicks. So when you have a dropdown, they want to click to open it instead of hover to open it. So what we see is on this particular dropdown, and actually, I think what I did is I programmed this on the entire nav because I don't think it would be very confusing to users if some clicked and some hovered. Okay, do we all agree on that? So this is something you set at the parent level, and you say, hey, all dropdowns, they're going to be either hover to open or click to open. It's not like this one's click, this one's hover. That would be confusing. So I just choose click as my dropdown behavior, and then I refresh on the front end. Nothing happening. On hover, I click. It's going to activate the dropdown now. So there's a lot of big argument right now, actually, of whether that should be the default or not. A lot of people are team click. A lot of people are team hover. I'll let you guys throw in the chat right now, like we can see. Are you team click or are you team hover? Let's see in the chat. Oh, I need to move my face. Let's put that over here for now. Okay. Yeah, I know there's a little delay. Team chat or team click, team hover. Team click, team hover. Which one? Everybody vote. Everybody vote. Let's watch the battle ensue in the chat. Okay. So I'm gonna keep building a simple services menu. So we're just gonna say service number 1. Okay, service 1. I'm gonna copy that. Okay, and then we're gonna click to duplicate. This can be 2 and 2, and this can be 3 and 3. So we got hover, 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 click, hover, click, hover, click. Looks like hover's winning a bit, but you can see there's some clickers in there too. All right, let's go here and let's see where we're at. Service 1, service 2, service 3. So got a drop down. Now, what has happened on mobile? Let's go here, check our mobile situation. Oh, that's converted to an accordion. Okay, so it's just handled. It's handled, which is fantastic, right? And of course, you can do all the styling on this stuff. I'm just showing you how it works out of the box. We won't spend the whole day styling everything. I'm just showing you the functionality of it, how it works out of the box. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna say we need another drop down, okay? Or actually, let's take it one small step further. Kevin, I don't want to put my services in manually. I want to loop through my services. Okay. I don't even know on this install if we have services to loop through. So we'll go back out here and we'll see ACF. Do I have any post types? I don't. Let's just quickly drag one in. Service, services, save, bang, services, add new service. Okay. Dynamic service 1. Just hit publish, add new service. Thank you. Service 2, publish, add new service. Service 3, publish. Okay, so we've got some services in the database. Let's go ahead and launch Etch. Let's navigate right back to our index and let's keep working. Okay. Oh, I didn't save before I that's okay. All right, we get to see how easy it is again. So let's go flexnav. Let's go with our flexnav item. Put that in the slot and go doop. Okay, and let's go about or home or whatever we want to do. About. Let's go services. Let's go contact and contact. Okay, so we're right back to where we started. And that's kind of the idea of like, okay, that's how quickly you can just, you need a nav, here it is, right? Now let's, again, convert this into our drop-down situation. So we're gonna say I want the drop-down instead. I go services, standard, give me a UL, perfect. I can put a slot in here for an item. There's my item. This is the item I'm going to loop, okay? So let's just see if we're back to where we were. Click me, there we go, okay? Perfect. All right, and then I'm gonna copy this. Let's refresh. I wanna make sure we're not having okay, yeah, we don't have a save issue. Okay, so this is going to be the item I am going to loop. So we can just hit right click. That's gonna give you a context menu. From the context menu, you can always wrap the thing that you've clicked on. You can wrap it in a div, you can wrap it in a loop, you can wrap it in a condition. Very easy, just hit wrap and loop. And then we need a loop, okay? So we need like a loop of our services. So I'm gonna come in here, say services. We're gonna put the post type in of services. You're gonna get the output preview over here. So if you've done this correctly, you should see your services correctly. Notice dynamic service 3, right? If I scroll down, I'll see dynamic service 2 somewhere right here, dynamic service 2. So I can see this is looping what I actually want. The post per page, I'm gonna go with -1, but the more pro intelligent way to do this would be count -1. And this gives me an adjustable count, but it will default to -1, which is all. -1 is all of your results, okay? So all I need to do now is choose my services from here. And let's see, they're all right there. Now, what do I need to do for the label, right? I need to do item.title, okay? There you go. And then for the link, it would be item.permalink.relative. All right, let's just save. Let's check ourselves on the front end here. There's our dynamic services. Let's go ahead and inspect. A goes to services, dynamic service 3, okay? So if you want static, you can have static. You can just go duplicate items. If you want a loop, you can just put one item, loop it, put the dynamic data keys in, and now you're looping through your services. Now the whole nav isn't controlled by a loop. It's just this part of the nav controlled by a loop. So you can have, it's a hybrid situation. Some of these things I just put in statically. Some of them I just want to dynamically loop. Because like if I create a new service, I don't want to have to remember to come up here and manually put that another service in the nav. I just want it to kind of fill itself out, okay? So very, very easy to do a hybrid situation. And then notice that we can all like have this debate. It's not really a debate, okay? But if you notice here, this top level item is a link. This top level element is a button. It's not a link. And nor should it be a link, okay? I really want to encourage everybody, stop doing this nonsense. Stop doing this where you have a drop down, but this thing is also a link. Nobody knows whether that thing is a link or not. And by the way, if you make that a link, this arrow has to be a button. You have to have a button next to a link. That's dumb. Let's just stop doing that pattern, okay? This can't be a link firing a drop down. That's not proper. Can't do it that way. And then nobody knows how they're gonna interact with their menu. What's gonna happen if remember we wanted the click action? Okay, so let's go back and add our click action. So I'm gonna say I don't want hovers, I want clicks. Let's save that. Let's refresh. Now I don't hover. Well, if that's a link, what are you doing to me? I'm trying to open the menu, now I'm going to the services page. What are we doing here? You gotta, if you're gonna have a drop down, you've got to stop putting links as the header of the drop down. That is a horrific UX pattern. A horrific UX pattern. And people have tried to fix it by putting this as the link and this is the button. Horrific. It's horrific. Can't stop doing that, okay? How do you fix this? How do you fix this? You come in, by the way, see, I can't see what's going on here. Just flip that switch right here. Preview in Etch, and it'll just stay open, okay? So I just click that, it'll stay open while I work on it. Now I can come down here, and what I'm gonna do is I can just duplicate this item, and essentially you're placing a static item outside of the loop. So I can put another thing in here that is not part of the loop. And this thing can just say all services, problem solved. We go back to the front end, Now you're getting all services as the option, so they can still get to the services overview page, and it's very clear that that's where they're going to go when they click. So they get the dynamic services listed, they get all services as the overview page. There's no limitations here. There's just better, clearer UX. That's it, okay? The other method, absolutely horrific. Now let's take a look again, what's happened on mobile for us. We're gonna come down. By the way, when you're checking this, notice we check in a fluid canvas. You should always be checking your situation in a fluid canvas. Look how, oh, I need to set a, Flex is handling the size of my logo here. Let me handle that explicitly. Let me go inline size, 150, 180, 200, and then let's go Flex shrink of 0. Don't let Flex shrink your logo. All right, so let's do that. Now that logo should stay consistently sized all the way throughout. Notice the menu breaks a little early, right? So you can control where it's breaking right here. So you could say like 800 pixels. And now we go in, and now you're gonna get a little more real estate. I could still even go a little bit further if I wanted to, you know? This is also gonna depend on, let's make sure it says pixels. This is also gonna depend on whether you have mega menus or not. But look how I'm dialing in exactly where I want that thing to break, okay? So that it stays desktop for as long as possible, essentially, which is nice. So you have full control over that, full control over that. All right, notice I'm previewing. That's nice too. So now I can go in here. If I'm done with that one, I can say, okay, I don't want to preview that one anymore. So this is very nice to keep that open while you're working, and you can see exactly what's going on inside of there. Now let's go ahead and see what, let's do panel alignment first. By the way, you have the same fluid canvas right here. I could have just done all those checks in here. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, by the way, I have the slightest imaginable cold possible, and it's only affecting my voice. So we may start to lose the voice at some point. We'll see. Hopefully it sticks with us. Okay, so look at this panel alignment. I can do right panel alignment. I can do left panel alignment. I can do center panel alignment, and I can do full, which I'll show you in a minute. Full is more inclined for mega menus. If you're gonna go, and it's just one of the options for mega menus, okay? But I wanted to show you can align the panels. Also, check this out, check this out. So you can control the display, right? So let's say, let's duplicate this real quick. And let's say I wanted to have a, a buy now, okay? Buy now. So this is gonna be, we said it was join, didn't we? Okay, join now. I can say, you know what? I want this to be only on desktop, okay? So I'm gonna save here. We'll go to the front end, and it's, I see join now on desktop, okay? Let's come down and let's see after this breaks, okay? Let me actually go here. Wanted to get more real estate for us. There we go, okay? So now that this is broken, you see join now. Now that this is broken, no join now. Now, what if you wanted something to only be there on mobile? I can just go flip that and say, hey, that should only be there on mobile. Let's go ahead, refresh the page, check. We have join now. Let's check what happens when, it's not there. No join now on desktop. Very easy to just, hey, let's put this one in, but I only want this on desktop. Oh, let's put this one in. I only want this one on mobile. All right. So that is nice and easy. I'll go to always. Always would obviously be on both. Okay. But very, very, very simple stuff. Let's go check out our mega menu situation now. Okay. So I want to convert this dropdown from standard to mega. And now I'm going to get certain things. Like I could say, hey, I want this to be 800 pixels, right? And then what I can do is inside the slot, because a slot just allows you to put anything. I can put a drop down content, okay? And I can just stick this inside of drop down content, and I can put a selector on here, like drop down content. And this is just the person using it, doing whatever they want to do, right? And I can come in here and I can say, this is going to be a grid. It's going to be a 2-column grid. Let's throw a gap in there. And now suddenly I'm starting to build this kind of mega menu situation. I mean, I could even come in and put whatever I want. Let's go to, watch this. Let's go to patterns and let's just choose some ridiculous pattern. So let's go to layouts and let's choose like maybe features. Is there anything that could potentially fit in here? I mean, these feature cards right here. We don't need like the whole section. Let's copy this code. Okay. Let's go ahead and well, I don't want to do that. Let's paste. Okay. All right. This gives me feature card alpha, right? Let's go ahead and put this in our drop-down content. Let's take our loop. I mean, I could, okay. I mean, we could just do it that way. Maybe. Let's just throw this in here. Let's go. We don't need that in there. Okay. I could throw one of these cards outside of here if I wanted to. What if I did item.title on this? And then you would add like a description custom field, obviously, and you would just pull that in dynamically. You could give your icon, your services an icon custom field and then pull the icon in dynamically. And then you can even choose like whether this is stacked, inline, adjacent. There's a bunch of different options that came with this component. You can even say, no, I don't want any icons. But like, look at this. I can go, what would we want? We wouldn't want inline. We would either want adjacent or we would want, I don't like stacked. I don't like stacked. I would go none or adjacent, but let's just say none. I mean, I just quickly threw in like, I mean, look at this. We're just cooking up mega menus here, like out of thin air. Just, hey, let me just grab another component out here, drop it in the loop, drop some dynamic data tags in here. And we're just rocking and rolling, kind of doing whatever we want. Now I come into the dropdown and I can say, what if I did, by the way, you could still, change the alignments here. I could do center, I could do left. And this would be like if I actually put my nav on the other side of the screen for whatever purpose, or maybe I had it right next to the logo, for example. You might want it to kick out to the left, but I can also do full here, which is going to go all the way across, right? And then inside of my drop-down content here, I could put another container, or I think I could probably just contain this. Let's do max inlines. Actually, I don't even have to. Why am I typing? Why don't I just click on the width button here and go content width right there? Perfect. And just do a margin inline of auto or something. And now I have centered full, like the thing's going full width, but the content's staying centered. And it's my grid. And you could throw in more padding on this if you wanted to. You could go padding block of section space S or something. Drop in more padding, get your mega menu a little bit bigger and a little bit more breathing room in there, But literally, you're just kind of now clicking buttons, dropping stuff in, and kind of just getting whatever effect you want. Which, by the way, this is the effect I'm getting on this dropdown. But check this out. Like, I could duplicate this dropdown, and I could get a completely different situation going here. So instead of full, I could go right. That would probably be the most appropriate for this one. Let's go right. Okay, let's go up to this dropdown. We don't want to preview what's going on there. We just want to preview what's going on with this one. I'm going to go with div 600 seems right. Do we want to center or do we want to, let's see, left looks like that, right looks like that, center looks like that. Oh, it's because I put the drop down content in here okay. If I wanted to, these are using the same class. Let's take the class off. Let's not involve two different classes. So we're trying to do something different here with this one. So let's go back and see what our alignments do now. Right and center. And okay, so we need to adjust. We're going to need to adjust the right probably. Services. But what I'm trying to show you is this one that we made where we go full screen with it, contain the inner stuff, doesn't have to affect all of them. You still are free to just do other things with other dropdowns. So that's why it's called flexnav, because you can do pretty much whatever you want, okay? All right, let's see. Did I miss any features before we move on? Panel content gap, we should probably look at that. And I don't know if this applies in, there's our standard version again. Let's see what panel content gap is doing. Okay, we can kill this one. Let's refresh this one. Okay, panel content gap, I think what that did, oh, that's right, okay. There was a panel gap, there was an offset. Let me go back to the top. Ah, yes. Here's the offset. Okay, this is what the offset does. The panel gap, I believe, just controls for dropdowns that don't, because you don't have an inner wrapper, you're controlling the gap between the items in the dropdown. We'll take a look at that in just a second. 3M and 3M there. Okay, let's take a look. So this is the offset right here, the space between the actual nav and where the dropdown is showing up. And then let's convert this back to a normal, which one do we want? Let's go preview, that's that one. Okay, let's convert this one back down. Let's take the loop out of that div, kill that div. There we go. Save, refresh. This is the gap in the panel content if you're not using an internal wrapper. So you can control that from that prop. Okay, so as you can see, we're able to do different things in different places and put these things together however you would like. Again, this is like, we're 3 hours into this development. And now what I'm doing is I've released it and I'm like, hey, go use it in the real world. Tell me what is broken. Tell me what needs to get better. And we're going to start improving the thing from here. And it's eventually going to make its way into being, via our component API, into an official nav builder kind of thing in Etch. We're a little ways off from that, but it's working its way there. It's working its way there. And I think it's just going to be like click, 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 add, save, move on with your life, and it's good. Now, we added all these mega things, right? Let's see how it is on mobile now. Let's see how it is on mobile. And then we're going to have a discussion about how much mega stuff you should maybe include on mobile or think about replacing on mobile, okay? And this is where those display conditions would come in. I know for sure that this nav over here that we did is not responsive yet. I did a manual grid. So let's take off the display of grid and the gap should be fine. All that should be fine. And let's replace this with an auto grid. Perfect. There we go. Okay, let's save and let's refresh. There's our auto grid. So that should, if you run out of space, there you go. It automatically stacks and such, which means, and it looks like we need a gutter here too. So let's go padding inline of gutter. Perfect. All right. There we go. Okay. Now let's go look at it on mobile. See what happens. Shrink down. Okay, look how see how we added more things. So now there's going to be a collision here. Watch this. You go to nav, you say, I need more breathing room. Let's go 900 pixels. Now let's go. And now it's going to break way sooner with plenty of time. So there's going to be no collision. Okay. All right, let's get in here. Check our mobile situation. There's services. There you go. Look at that. If there's, because it's an auto grid. So if there's room, it'll put them back in a grid. If there's no room, it's just going to have them in a list. The auto grid is going to behave exactly how the auto grid still behaves. And then this one wasn't an auto grid. It was just a normal drop down. Okay. But your items are in there, right? Everything that you put is in there. If you do something crazy, you might want to think about having that only on desktop and then do something simpler that only shows up on mobile. These are the decisions that you just have to make as the architect of your navigation though, okay? There's no easy way to handle like, Kevin, I put 5 pricing cards in a drop down, but on mobile, I only want to show parts of the car. Like, okay, I mean, you could probably do that, but it ain't going to be automatic. It's not going to be like click a couple buttons and I magically knew what you put in there and I can manipulate it. Like, you're still the architect of the navigation. You still have to make some of those decisions. You still got to put some of those customizations in here. This is just the architecture for, do you need drop downs? Do you need a mega menu? How do you want to position it? How big does it need to be? Should it display on mobile or desktop or both or whatever? Like, this is just the wrappers that give you the flexibility and the functionality that you need. Okay. We could dive into the code behind the scenes, but I don't think we need to. I think we're gonna move on to our PB101 Q&A, and I got a couple sneak peeks to show you. I wanted to, just because I have OCD, even though we're never gonna see this site again. These two things cannot say services. So let's say portfolio. Okay, safe. All right, perfect. And again, you can put any content in there you want, images, like whatever. Okay, any questions on that? Or is that sufficient for a preview of our flexnav component? Add option for drop-down width to container width, so the background also fits. But nitpicking can do that myself. Great work. Let's see. Add an option for drop-down width to container width. You can already do that, right? You can already do that. So, if I am correctly understanding what you mean. Let's see. Portfolio. That's that one. Let's look at this one. So if you're in Mega, you should be able to, is this what you're talking about? Like you could just make the drop-down content width? Is that what you're talking about? I don't know if that's what you're talking about or not. All right. You have to clarify. How does the mobile layout trigger work when changing browser font size, since I'm setting the value in pixels? Oh, yeah. I was just throwing pixels in here. But you can absolutely just come in here and say like 90 rem or whatever. And then, yeah, if you wanted to, and that's what you should do, honestly, is rem, but I just threw in pixels. But yeah, this accepts any valid unit. So you're not stuck with pixels. Let's see. I found I had to change the drop-down text color flexnav drop-down trigger manually. Actually, I already fixed that. I saw that this morning. I just made it inherit. So it won't be a weird color out of the box now. It'll just inherit whatever colors you've got going on up there. By the way, all questions need to have hashtag Q. And another good thing about this is you can right click edit component and see exactly how this thing was built, right? You can you have access to everything, even if I turn on like JavaScript, right? This is the JavaScript for this menu. Okay, it's not a ton. You can go in there and literally see exactly, if something's broken, you could literally fix it. It's not a black box. It's not a black box. You have access to everything. Now, when we actually register this with the components API into Etch as an official native component, it'll be a black box then at that point. But right now, it's not a black box. You could literally come in here and see how every single thing is done, how every prop is made, how every prop is mapped, how the props are affected with the JavaScript, and on and on and on and on. You can see every single aspect of it. Can I set the default HTML font size at 62.5% and make Etch to rem function calculate properly? No. The whole point of to rem is that you no longer use 62.5, nor should you ever again use 62.5. Let's remember, 62.5 was only used because rem is hard to calculate. Okay? Rem is no longer hard to calculate. Now, I have to make sure that this actually is set to work, but you would have to rem 900 pixels, okay? And that Etch does the heavy lifting of parsing this out to rem for you. You can use this all over the place in Etch, and it works really, really well. You can use it in container queries. In fact, you even see, let me get to an actual page that we can work with here. Let's go to homepage. Okay. And then if I wanted to do something to this heading, for example, okay, my heading, and I wanted to do a container query or a media query, I'll do a container query. Okay. I've just generated a has me. I've generated a container query, and look right there, they natively use the toRem function. So you never have to worry about the conversion ever again now in Etch. You just say, you take your pixel value, you pop it in a toRem function, you move on with your life. And I'll show you the code on the front end. So we say color is red if the real estate is greater than 900 pixels, okay? So let's go to the front end. We see that the heading is red. Let's right click, let's inspect. Now I put in 900 pixels, right? I put in 900 pixels. We all saw that. So I'm gonna go to the heading here. Let's inspect this. Where's my inspector? Inspect. Okay, div, ul, data. Why are we way up? Why are we way up there? Why it's not letting me right click on the thing? Okay, let's go down here. Here's my heading. So there's what you see. It says I put in 900 pixels, but the code says inline size greater or equal to 56.25 rem. And this is why I always made the argument that rims are hard to get. People were like, Kevin, it's the math is not that hard. I'm like, well, first of all, I'm an idiot at math. But second of all, you didn't know that was 56.25. Come on now, don't mess with me. See, they try to gaslight you in this life, you know? Nobody knew right away that they needed 56.25 there, okay? But we didn't need to, that's the good thing. You put in the toRem function, it handles it for you, and you're good to go. And now you have no compatibility issues with third-party plugins, because, 100% is the default, right? So you don't want to, you don't want to use 62.5 unless you have this problem of I use rims a lot and I don't want to have to do the math all the time. But now you get the best of both worlds. Etch is always about, let's overcome the problem without introducing limitations. 62.5 overcame the problem, but introduced a limitation. The toRem function overcomes the problem, does not introduce a limitation. Okay. Can we use the dropdowns inside of dropdowns for multi-level nav? Soon you will be able to. I've only been working on the thing for 3 hours total, okay? So like give me a break. Give me a little bit of time, okay? We'll cook in some flyouts, okay? Right now, no, but yeah, soon I'm gonna keep grinding on it. Okay, we'll get it to happen. Will we be able to copy a registered component black box and use it as a base for another one like Element Studio does in Breakdance? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I see the value in that really. I don't know why people do that in Breakdance. I would have to look at it. But for example, we did this the other day. So if you have feature card alpha, right? The component we have to understand is a wrapper. It's not an element. This feature card alpha is not an element. If we look inside of it, it has an element, okay? And actually components in Etch are very flexible because they can have multiple parents, right? You can have multiple what are called root level elements. So I could duplicate feature card alpha to where feature card alpha is literally now 2 cards, okay? You can have multiple root elements. So this is a wrapper that has controls assigned to it and creates component functionality, but it passes all of that down to its children. And so this is the actual thing that's inside of the component, which I could copy and come out here, like watch this. Let's say I wanted to take this article, okay, which has feature card alpha on it, and I wanted a whole new set of props, just different props, different functionality, different everything, but I wanted to start with this article card, right? I copied it. I can come in here and I can hit paste, and it gives me feature card alpha, which I could then create a component and say feature card alpha 2. And now I have a blank slate from which to create my props and map them all to this card, right? But if I save here and I exit, I now have 2 different components. One has props, the other one doesn't have props. I just started from the internal thing, okay? So that's possible right now with components that you create. Now, whether that would be possible with the black box versions, you know, I don't know. I don't know. All right, we're gonna, our second, hold the presses. So the recommendation typography for 62.5%, not 100%. Yes, so like if you notice in automatic CSS, if you go to, what is it? Layout, typography, where did we do it? Right here. The root font size is 100% now. It used to be way back in the day, 62.5. For 4.0, it moved to 100%. And that is because you have access to the to-rem function. We no longer need to play the game of 62.5. By the way, we're going to answer PB101 questions. I mean, you could ask anything if you want, but this is your chance. If you have PB101 questions, we'll answer a lot of those. And then I got a couple more sneak peeks to give you if I can get local fired up. But check this out. Like, there's remember frames. If you go to the old frames library, let's go to getframes.io/layouts. And let's go to card let's search card. So like there's obviously a bunch of different types of cards. You could have feature cards and so on and so forth. But there's an icon card. Here's an FAQ card. We probably have to go to the here. Okay, here's like one here. Icon card. Here. This is a process card. Here's an icon card. Feature card. This is a perfect example. So here's feature card Foxtrot or whatever, right? That's kind of what I'm about to show you that I'm going to insert here. But because Bricks didn't have adequate components when we built this library, and honestly, like still doesn't, we had to create like, this would be feature card, whatever this is called, Foxtrot. And then there would be like an alpha where, because like the structure has to change in order to get this to sit on the top, you know, without a lot of other shenanigans going on. You need a lot of component-based control to create variations. So what you end up with is like 4 different kinds of cards that really don't need to exist. And in a world where we actually have functional components, you can just put in something like feature card alpha, and then you have all the options that I showed you, right? Like I can throw an icon in here, like this logo ipsum. It's said to be a square icon. So let's go to huge icons. Let's go icons. This is a great icon library, by the way, if you're looking for a good icon library. Let's do like our little Twitter, okay? Let's just download this SVG right here. Okay, so Twitter solid sharp. And we're gonna go drop that into here and we're gonna drop that in. And so now I have a Twitter icon, all right? And I can come down here and I can control the size, okay, whatever I want. I can now say, you know what? I want that to be in line with the heading. So it's in line with the heading. Let me delete this stupid heading right here. Okay, so it's in line with the heading. Then there's another option where I say, yeah, I want it to be adjacent. So adjacent puts the icon adjacent to the heading and the text, right? And then you would obviously want to change maybe the size of the icon here in this format. 1.5, something like that, 1.75, there we go. So that looks very nice. But then you could also say, no, you know what, in this instance, in this particular layout, I'm doing some other section now for my features. I don't want an icon for these features. You could just say none, and now it just doesn't have an icon. And this is not using like CSS. This literally, the icon does not exist in the DOM anymore. And now I just fill in my card, like this is feature number 1, and this is the description of feature number 1. And then I can just duplicate this a bunch of times, you know, turn this into a grid and whatnot, and I just keep going. And then I can have an entirely different grid where all of these have icons, and they're all stacked. So I just come in, I stack them. And then, of course, if you're looping these, because these accept dynamic data as well, if you're looping these, you would only really have one to control. And this is actually a good point. Let me bring up the sneak peek of what we're going to do with Selector School. I think this is going to be very fun. I think this is going to be very, very, very fun. I see a bunch of questions coming in, but yes, make sure they have hashtag Q in front of them or they're going to get lost. All right, let's go look at Selector School. Question is, where did I build Selector School? I built it in PB101 404. Let's go in here. Are you guys ready for Selector School? Now, as you know, we're doing a 5-step process. So S1 is structure. S2, semantics. We've done both of those. Those are donezo. So if you're not caught up, you really need to get caught up. Because once we start, I said in the last video, we're at the top of the roller coaster. You better put your hands in the air. Because now, once this thing starts going downhill, okay, it's going to get crazy. It's going to get wild. And this all starts with Selector School. You're about to go to boot camp for selectors. You understand me? This is about to be, I wanted to make it a little fun, and I wanted to be something where people can point to this and be like, you need to go to Selector School, you know? I just think this format's going to be fantastic. So let me pull up what Selector School looks like, and check this out. I made this copyable by Jason. This is going to show you, this is going to be wild. So literally anybody doing the course who's using Etch and has automatic CSS, because we gave those to you for free as part of the course, right? Like temporarily, you get a 90-day dev license, right? You're going to be able to copy the JSON that I give you and paste it in, and you're going to have Selector School on your own instance, okay? And you can follow right along with Selector School. But what's crazy about this is when you copy and paste, it's going to bring in the loop, actually both loops. It's going to bring in the components. Because I want to show you what a real page should look like, a dynamic page, okay? Here's I think this is the classroom. This is what we want to look at. Welcome to Selector School, okay? I built a school directory for us to help teach you how selectors work. Let's have some fun. So the way I'm going to explain selectors in CSS is literally like, let's imagine you were the dean of a school, and like in real life, and you were like, I need all of the boys to come to the office. I need all the girls to come to the office. I need all of the teachers to come to the lunchroom. You need to select people, right? You need to figure out what is the attribute that thing has, or that group of things has, that I could select it. Hey, I need the first 4 people in Miss Adeyemi's class. AI came up with the names. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what kind of school this is. I need the first 4 students in Miss Adeyemi's class to come to the lunchroom. Okay? How do we do that? How do we get the first 4 of these cards? Because here's the thing. You know, the Elementor people, the Divi people, the Beavers, you know, they would be like, well, you just click on them and change them one by one. Well, that's not the life we live. I mean, that's, right. This is, let's take a look at how Selector School is built. So I'm going to edit in Etch. Okay. Here is Selector School. Now you might think, I mean, it's quite a page. I mean, there's a lot going on here. You might think there's a lot of DOM elements. There's a lot of things in my structure panel, you know? That is the entire structure panel. That's the entire structure panel. So you have your just outer wrapper that we called school. And then you've got your intro, right? In a little container. You got your classroom list, and we see our first loop. And our first loop is, and you don't have to, we're eventually going to get into how all of this is built, obviously in the course, you know, because we're going to get to systems. If you take a systems approach to building websites, this is what systems approach looks like, where things are dynamic, right? So I'm looping the classrooms. That's how I got Classroom 107 and Classroom 223 and Classroom 302. And then I just gave them a heading. And then we're going to go down and we're going to see we have a list. And then inside that list, we have a profile card component that is in a list item that is looped. And that's how I get all of these things. But then if we look at what's actually going on the front end, I'm going to right click and inspect. And we're going to see if we go in and we find one of these cards, we actually have attributes, right? Depending on who we choose, they're going to have different attributes, whether they're, you know, a bus rider, or they have, they're male, they're female, what club they're in, all of that, all in attributes, plus there's classes, plus there's elements, plus there's IDs, plus there's this. And we're going to learn all about selectors. what they all do, and how you select things based on relationships, how you select groups of things, how you select an nth number of things, we're gonna go through Selector School. And I think I wanted an example that also maps to reality where you realize, oh yeah, like in real life, we can group people by certain, and that's all we're doing with CSS. We're just figuring how, there's that thing I want to select. How do I select it? How do I touch it? How do I style it? Okay. Oh, there's a group of things. I need a group based on these attributes right here. How do I group those things together? But how do I group those things together when they're in this certain situation or on this certain page or whatever? It's the same way that we need to group things in real life, you know? Hey, all the kids with glasses, get over there, you know? All right, so this is gonna be good. Now, by the way, this is all JSON driven. See, if this was CPT driven and custom field driven, you wouldn't be able to copy paste this into your install. That would be a nightmare. All right, I'd be like, oh, now you need ACF. Oh, now you need this. Now you need, look, this is all driven from one little simple JSON file right here. That's it. But here's the thing about copy paste in Etch. Okay, I'm gonna grab this, bang. I'm gonna go to our other site that we were just on, EDD Live January. Now it does say on the front end that you need a secondary color active. So I'm gonna go turn on secondary and we'll save. Actually, no, you don't need secondary. You need primary and base. So we can actually leave secondary off. As long as you have primary and base, because I wasn't gonna build that shit manually with like colors and all that. I'm just gonna use ACSS. Like, what are we doing here? All right, so let's go ahead and edit with Etch, okay? And let's paste. Guys, I just pasted in Selector School. And you're like, well, hold on, there's a loop. You didn't paste the loop. Copy paste and Etch brings in anything required for what you're pasting. It brought the loop in right there. It auto imports the loop. And then I open it up. And I mean, there were components. There's nested components. There's everything required to work with what you're trying to bring in is just going to be brought in. Okay. Now it's going to look different based on your ACSS settings, right? But it's all structurally and most of the styling is there, just the way I had it, right? My base color you can't see because my website color is the same color. If I change this to, I go to color assignments and I change background here to white, you would now see that they have the same background color, okay? All right, so let's save that, boom. That's all you gotta do. You paste in, now you can participate in Selector School as I lead you through it. That would not be possible if we were doing CPTs and custom fields and database stuff and all that. JSON, very, 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 very powerful. Very, very simple, okay? Very nice. Okay. Oh, I'm glad to hear this. Glad to hear this. Okay, is there another reason to keep it at 100% root font size? It still seems easier having a base 10 font size rather than having a bunch of 2rem functions everywhere. Yeah, it is because the entirety of the internet is standardized to 100%. And you're going to be working with plugins, third-party plugins and things on your site. Those are all, for the most part, probably going to use 100%. And so, you know, you're going to end up in a situation where some things are trying to behave at 100% and some things are trying to behave at 62.5. And I always said that's the one downside of 62.5 is that if you bring in third-party things that use rem, you're going to have a conflict. You're going to have a problem. And so you had to be very careful about what third-party things you could bring in. Now you don't have to worry about it. The whole internet is pretty much operates on 100%. So your site should operate on 100%. And then internally, we solved the problem with a 2rem function where we dynamically convert it. Okay. So yeah, I don't have to lead people through the building of Selector School. That's going to be nice because we would have to start at the end. Like we would have to start with systems and work our way backwards, and that would never work. So you're just going to be able to copy and paste this in. It's going to be nice. Okay. But now, like, I'll give you a little hint, you know, an example. So we are tasked with, I need to select all teachers. I need to select all teachers, okay? So if I go to the front end, we need to make sure we only have one instance open of our thing. And I want to make sure I'm on my sandbox and not on actual Selector School as we do this. Let's get our tabs under control here. Okay, let's go to the front end, take a little trip to the front end. And the big point I'm trying to make is when you build dynamic websites, guess what, Chief? You can't go click on a card. There's only one card on this entire page. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? You got to know how to select things, okay? So we're going to go here and we're going to inspect and we're going to see that this particular card right here has data role equals teacher. Data role equals teacher. So I know my selectors, right? Data role equals teacher. And I can say border 5 pixel solid red. And now I have isolated, there's a teacher, there's a teacher, there's a teacher. So all my teachers now, and I can style the teacher cards differently than I style every other card. Even though they have all the same classes and all the same everything else, I found a unique attribute, a unique way to target, to select these items so that I can control their styling independently from everything else. If I wanted to select all kids with a grade point average of A, how would I do that? If I wanted to select only kids in classroom 107, how would I do that? And there's just an endless amount of scenarios, like I mentioned, where we can learn how these selectors work. Okay. Let me show you, by the way, let's check on our situation in Gutenberg. Holy smokes, Selector School exists in Gutenberg. Oh my gosh. Oh, you love to see it. I mean, I just pasted it in. How could it possibly work in Gutenberg? Well, the auto block authoring it just does its magic, just does its magic. Look, I can even see how everything is mapped and exposed over here. It's fantastic. You love to see it. You love to see it. Now let's talk about, before we answer questions, this is going to be quick. It's going to be quick, okay? We're going to talk about how Gutenberg is still an embarrassment to WordPress. Because here's the thing, you got to put yourself in my shoes, friends. People are like, why are you always complaining about Gutenberg? Why are you always ragging on Gutenberg? Don't you feel sad for the poor souls putting free work into, look, I don't care about your excuses, okay? It doesn't have to be free. Automatic could pay them, all right? Like, quit the excuses. It's open source, guys. It's just how open source works. It takes 12 years to do the simplest of tasks. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. That's some stupid rules you're living by, okay? But it affects me. I'm over here busting my ass, innovating web development, and I still got to put up with this nonsense. Okay, this is what I'm trying to talk about. Let's go to can I go to my header? Can I go to my header? Let's go to appearance editor. Where did they keep my header? Patterns, my patterns, header. I don't even know how to get there from here. All patterns. I can get to the nav from here, but where's my actual header? I don't know. Templates. That's right. Different magic areas for everything. Okay. Index. All right, let's go there. Edit. To see this here's my header right here. Here's my header. Enter. Okay. First things first. I cracked up when I saw this. I messaged the team. I was like, did we fuck this up? Or is this just Gutenberg again? Now, in the back of my mind, I already kind of knew what the answer was going to be. But, do you see this arrow right here? And now, let me remind you, okay? You got to have context to all of this stuff. They've been working on this thing for 9 years. 9 years! Understand, okay? 9 years. The arrow... What's going on with the arrow? It just keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. It's not a little baby arrow. Little baby shark arrow. I gotta play the baby shark music for this. Look at that, it just keeps getting smaller. And it's not even aligned anymore. What? This is 9 years. 9 years, okay? All right. Anyway, we have these slots, you know? So you can have a slot. First of all, it makes you lock all of this shit, which is annoying. But the slot is actually not locked, even though it has a lock symbol. Rest assured, it's not actually locked, friends. You can drag stuff in it. Now, can you just put something in it from right here? Well, no. No, the answer is no. Here's why the answer is no. The way they designed it is you can only put things directly in something if you can click in it and access it from the canvas. Like, for example, let me add a pair. So you have to be in another block on the canvas because the primary mode of putting something in here, regardless of what it is, like let's say I wanted a flexnav item, right? Well, I can put that there if I have something else to click inside of. But not every block gives you something to click inside of. So this is the game you have to play, okay? Can I delete that? Let's delete that. I wanna put, and by the way, it's showing placeholder content for our slot, for our content, our dynamic content slot. It's failing to show the padding here for some reason or other, only because it's in a template. If I put this in another Gutenberg instance, it would probably show the padding. I don't know what's going on with it. It's just such a mess. It's just, the Gutenberg is just such a mess. But look, I wanna go to the structure panel. Guys, this is a UX issue that like, this, I don't think they use their own software. That's the conclusion. They just must not ever use it. Maybe we just use it and they don't ever use it. But like, this is so unacceptably atrocious. Like, you come in here, I've got to, by the way, notice, is this collapsed or is it open? Is there a way? Does anybody know? Is there any, how do I open them all? Is there any way to open all? Is it a keyboard shortcut I'm missing? What, how, is there any way to open it all? Okay? Does anybody know? I'm phoning a friend right now. Phoning a friend, using my lifelines. Is there any way to auto open all of these? Is it in here? Add before, add after, rename, hide, create pattern, create template bar, delete. Is there no way after 9 years for me to open all these at once? Because watch what happens. I go here, I open this one, now I open this one, then I gotta open this one, and this one, and this one, and okay, here's the slot content. Here's the list. Like, one of these is a slot, right? Okay, so I need to put something in there. How do I put something in there? Well, let me go to the plus sign. Watch this magic. Because they still haven't figured out step one of a UX in a page builder is don't cover your structure panel or replace your structure panel with another panel. This is like one of the most important panels right here. But I click add. Oh, it's gone. Oh my God, it's gone. We now see another. Okay, well, let me try to insert something. What can I insert? Can I insert a nav item? Okay. Oh, where did it go? Let me go. Half this is collapsed now. I got to look. Which one am I on? Okay, let's open this one. Let's open this one. Text, link, etch, flexnav. No, that was supposed to be in here. I had the thing selected. It's not in here. I got to open them all manually. I got to drag it in. Oh, finally, now it's in there. Okay. Then I'm going to go back. I'm going to work. I'm going to try to, how do I do? Oh, I'm here. Got to go here. They don't have the right labels. Okay. Let me go in here. Now we are going to have to do so much work. Okay. If I save, go check this out on the front end. I want to go view my site, see what happened. I have the header turned off on that page, I think. So I can't preview. But I go in here now constantly. What I'll find myself is when I do something here and go back, it's all collapsed again. And then I'm like, are you kidding me? I go here, got to get back there somehow. How do I get back there? Oh my God, so many clicks. And then I'm like, okay, I'm ready to add the next thing. Oh, gone again. What do I have? I can't even see on that. What have I selected? Where is this thing going to go that I'm about to add? I have no idea. They still haven't fixed this. You cannot cover up my structure with my options for my, that can't happen. Like if I was sitting in the boardroom, I'd be like, no, no, that can't happen. Stop doing that. Somebody fix this immediately. This is on fire. This is urgent. Get on it. 9 years. They still haven't figured it out. This is just, and they have the nerve to be like, well, Kevin, you're out of touch. Kevin, you don't know how these things should work. Kevin, just shut up. Stop talking about it. Kevin, excuse. Dismissal. Well, if you don't like it, why don't you go put in a ticket that'll sit there for 4 more years and never have anything done about it? It's just, and so why do I get upset about it? You know why? Because now I got to fix it. With our product, I got to fix this. This is simple. This is not even hard. I'm not even asking them to build a page, but just build a simple content editor that works. They can't do it. They cannot do it. And these kind of issues with the UX, like, this is why I say, hey, have you tried XYZ new page builder? And I'm like, is it a Gutenberg page? Yeah, it works right in Gutenberg. I've heard enough. This saddling anybody with this work. Look, you know how you like I just love to do like comparisons. Like, let's just open this up, okay? I want to change the label here. This is a new label, okay? Bang, fast, rapid fire, do your work, get it done, right? You go over here, okay? You got to go click, come down. Where is it again? Click. Oh, modal. Okay, all right. This is my new header. Oh, finally. Do you know those clicks add up? The insane cost of all of those extra clicks over time, over the course of a project in an hour. Just, oh my God, like this, like these clicks right here. Like, okay, let's go over here. Is this so hard? Is this difficult? Is this, what is this? This is not the future that we engineered here. This is just doing the obvious. Where is that here? Where is that here? Okay? It's click. Gotta get there. It's a race to get there. Imagine Bev looking over your shoulder. Bev breathing down your neck. I got it, Bev. Hang on, Bev. Hang on. Just Bev, I'm almost there. Okay? Like, this is ridiculous. And I just keep encountering the most ridiculous things. And I'm like, there's another thing we got to fix. There's another thing we're going to have to fix. There's another thing and they're all obvious. And I just can't, after a while, you can't take it. Because we're over here just busting our ass, just innovating the shit out of stuff. And we go and have to deal with this. We can't even get 9 years in. We can't fix the disappearing icon. The disappearing baby shark icon. We can't get a fix logged for that. This is wild. Wild times we live in. This is the platform that's going to keep up with Era 4? AI? It's fucking embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Who's responsible for this? Get them on the line, dude. You gotta bring them out of the darkness into the light. Speak for yourself. Okay, this is wild. But then they go after me. They're like, Kevin, you can't talk about those people. They're volunteers. Kevin, it's an open source. This is just what happens in open source. It is. File a ticket. We won't ever merge it, but file it. Can you open the structure by clicking elements on the canvas block editor? I don't know. I can't even see the structure now. The thing is like you need other structure there. And like when you're using custom blocks, that's not how it works, right? Custom blocks work differently from core blocks. Yeah, they are paid employees at Automatic. A lot, they use that excuse as like, they're volunteers. A lot of them are paid. They collect checks. And most 80% of their pay, as far as I'm concerned, is going on Twitter and making excuses for why everything sucks. That's primarily what they're paid to do. Yeah. I mean, it's just the most basic, easy. It's not, we're not even asking a lot here. We're just, how about use your own product? You know, like use your own product, because you would encounter these things and you would maybe be encouraged to fix them. The idea that you have to choose between, and what is this layout anymore in 2026? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Thank God for the blue sky widget. Did I just see this? JFC, bro. And this is why Matt posted the other day about they went a whole team meeting. I think they did a damn retreat. They all went on a retreat to update the mission statement of Automatic, and all they did was add a fucking semicolon. I'm not. You think I'm lying to you? I'm not lying to you. They just added a semicolon. They all went like on a retreat. They spent like all this time and energy to add a semicolon to their mission statement. They thought that was clever. They thought that was real cute. We got baby shark icons in the structure panel, but they want you to know that they added a semicolon. And they say, I'm out of touch. They say, I'm out of touch. That's what's wild. See, that's the thing. When you start gaslighting me, I will literally light you on fire on a stream. Literally. Don't gaslight me, because I will bring you on a stream and light you on fire. And that's what happens. And people, don't get upset with me, okay? These are not cute little furry, friends working like, in the lab. They're just doing their best. No. These people will gaslight you. They will attack you. They will gang up on you. They're not nice. They're not great people. They're not nice people, okay? So, and that's why I said, hey, if you want to be all, dismissive and gaslight me and all this stuff, don't bring trash in here. But this is trash. This is trash, okay? All right. These streams get a little wild. I mean, we're starting off 2026 with good vibes. Good vibes. All right, we're gonna do Q&A. Curtis, I wouldn't lie to you, Curtis. Okay, I'll find the tweet. Let me go on my other. Let me go search here. I'm gonna pull this up, dude, because you have to understand. You think I'm not only am I not lying, I'm not even exaggerating, not even a little bit. Mullen Wig. Let's see. Mission statement. I don't even know how to search on Twitter like effectively. Twitter has an advanced search, don't they? Twitter advanced search. Okay. I gotta Google it. Twitter advanced search. Okay. Ah, there we go. All of these words. Okay. You know what? I'll do this in a minute if we have extra time. I want to get to the questions, but I'm going to find this tweet. I'm going to find the tweet. I think I screenshotted it on Facebook too a while back. So we could look there too. But I'm not even joking in the slightest. Not even joking in the slightest. And those kind of things just make me angry. It not for me personally. It makes me angry for the ecosystem, because I'll just remind everybody, we all rely on this software. We all rely on this ecosystem, and to just have people leading it who have completely no idea what's going on and no idea what they're even trying to build. And this is what we're all relying. That makes me angry. Like, there are real lives at stake. There are real businesses at stake. There's the fate of WordPress at stake. There's a lot. We need solid leadership in rapidly changing, crazy times. We need real solid leadership. And we have absolute clowns at the forefront of what's happening. And that's angering, right? It's angering in politics, it's angering in WordPress, it's angering everywhere. If you were on a sports team and you're like, dude, we're trying to win a championship, and your coach was an absolute clown, that would make you angry. It should make you angry. That should upset you, okay? If you're not upset by that, you are not a winning player, right? Winning players don't accept clown behavior from leadership. That's just how it works at the end of the day. So, yeah. All right, let's do Q&A. Let's see. Hashtag Q. you have an alternative? Do you have an alternative for WordPress if you want in the future use Etch for another for other CMS? We have the possibility of an alternative. We don't have one sitting here, but we have the possibility of an alternative. We're not tied to WordPress. We're not like, Etch does not rely on WordPress, right? Like you could lift it up. Imagine just lifting it up, moving it over and setting it down somewhere else. It's quite possible. Let's see. Why not just create a dumbed down area like Gutenberg and Etch instead of relying on it? Actually, what we would do and what we still may do is build a front end overlay editing experience. But the reason we integrate with WordPress is like Gutenberg is because that's WordPress. That's now core WordPress. That is, and there is a large part of the ecosystem that won't touch anything that doesn't write to blocks. And so it is what it is. That's just the life you choose to live when you choose WordPress. Now we could build, like I said, a front end overlay editing feature as well, which I very much want to explore at some point. But we have to get the experience that everybody in WordPress is typically wanting, which is hey, make it easy to edit in Gutenberg, which right now is if you're not dealing with component slots, it's very, very easy, you know? Like for example, this page has this intro component, right? Like we could go back there, select the intro component. You come down and you say, this is my new heading. See, very easy, right? Fill out the fields, hit save, move on with your life. Like it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. You can even control the logic, show lead, don't show lead, show primary CTA, right? Fill out the CTA text, show secondary CTA. These can be programmed to look like buttons if you want to make them look like buttons. Like this is all very easy. I was pointing out one thing that I ran into the other day, which was I needed to put things in a slot, and the way that they architected the canvas for the primary mode of inserting something is that you have to have your cursor in an open area on the canvas, which doesn't exist when you have a slot. It's not a UX path. And then the inability to constantly have this be actually open and usable, you know, like, and then it kept closing on me. And then I keep covering it up every time I try. Like it was like 3 minutes in, I wanted to jump off a bridge. And it's like, if that's how I feel in your software, and all I'm trying to do is edit content. I'm not even trying to build a page. I'm not even trying to do development. I'm just trying to edit things and drop things in. You can't even accomplish that. It's wild. It's wild. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, this is one thing we're exploring, that closed system components don't reveal their children in the structure panel. That's another thing that we're going to look at. Like get this. We had to tell people to stop using child themes because they do half a project and then they're like, ooh, I want to add a child theme so I can add such and such additional new custom functionality to my site. They install the child theme and their entire template architecture blows up. Why? Because it's WordPress. And they didn't think, they tied templating architecture to the main theme. So even though a child looks at the main, it breaks the templating architecture. You have to start with the child theme that you want and then build, and then never change that child theme. And it's just like, we just constantly keep running into this stuff where it's just like, guys, and then I've argued for a long time now that the whole idea of baking functionality into a theme, which is a visual kind of thing, is stupid. It's dumb architecture. You got to separate concerns. You need a separation of concerns. This is like programming 101, separation of concerns. And that's where they tell, Kevin, you're out of touch. That's just not, WordPress shouldn't work that way. This is, they start with the like, and meanwhile, I go, but look at all these problems. And then, excuse. And I'm like, dude, nobody around here wants to solve a single problem. That's like what I'm getting at. Nobody in leadership wants to solve a single problem. They can't identify, oh yeah, those are really bad problems. Maybe we should change the architecture. Maybe we should fix it. No, zero interest. And they just start gaslighting you. Oh, you're the problem. You're the problem. All right. What is the best way to add some slide in, out, fade in, out animation for the nav panel on mobile? I think the burger triggers display none. It already does slide in and slide out, but you can go look at the code and you can adjust it if you want to. But there's already transitions there. Let's see. How about classes or aria current page, etc. for the active menu item and for drop downs active? Yeah. We should definitely add that. Aria page current. Yeah, for sure. Can you show how to change the color of the panel background in mobile? Yeah. We could take a quick look at that. Let's see. I was on a different site though, wasn't I? What site was I on? Let's go sandbox sites, test, EDD live gen. I think that's where we were. Let's go to index. There it is. All right. Let's open all those. Let's go to this drop down. Let's preview the other one. Okay, so we want to change this color only on mobile. So what I did, what's kind of unique, is we used, I keep saying we, I built the thing. We is for everything else. So I used 2 data attributes because I didn't want, we don't have tokenized media queries yet because nobody does, but we're going to have them first. I didn't want static references to that breakpoint floating around everywhere. That would be an absolute nightmare. So I mapped them to data attributes using JavaScript. And so what you're going to find when you go to edit these things, and if you just look at an example, probably the dropdown has a good example. So this is the actual dropdown. And you're going to see right here, if I can zoom in. So there's a data flexnav status. And the status is either desktop or mobile. Okay. And this is where you can change the styling of something on desktop or on mobile. So then you would go to the thing that you want to change, which I believe you said is this inner, like that's the actual panel. This is the thing that has the background color and all of that, okay? And what we have to realize is that the mobile or desktop thing is put on, I believe, the nav parent. So let's go, and this is all gonna get documented, obviously, because nobody wants to, I think I'm hiding the, that's why I added this wrapper right here. I'm hiding the body and the header and the footer. Okay, let's go back. Let's go here. There we go. Okay. So if we look at this, inspect, we're going to see div, SVG, button, nav. Okay. Nav. Here you go. So data flex nav status. So that is on the nav. Now, this requires a deeper understanding of how nesting works, okay? But we'll work through this together. So remember, it's on the nav. That's where that attribute is found of whether it's desktop or in mobile. So I'm gonna go down to the drop-down content, the thing that I was trying to edit. And I wanna select this drop-down content. I believe it's drop-down content. Oh, I need to be in the component. Okay, so let's go to the dropdown. It's this element right here, which is a dynamic element, so you can't see the tag, but it's the dropdown inner. So when the nav itself is in the desktop mode or the mobile mode, that's when I want to affect this selector right here. So people think you can't do this with nesting because you're like, Kevin, you're in the child. How are you going to first select it like a grandparent? Like a long lost ancestor that has a specific attribute, and how are you going to do all that from right here? Like, don't you have to go to that thing and do it from there? And actually you don't. And nesting is just brilliant, right? Nesting is brilliant. So even though I'm inside this, if I write like nav, okay, and I put a data attribute selector on it, and then I put the ampersand, I'm selecting this thing when it's inside of this context right here, okay? So if I say that this is mobile, I'm now changing the styles of drop-down inner when the nav is in the mobile state, right? And that's why this is easier to have data attributes. Let's just see if this works here first. And then I'm gonna hit save, background red. That should be, we'll just do important, just make sure there's no, for right now, just to make sure there's no conflicts or anything. I doubt there would be, but okay. So let's go to the front end, let's take a little trip. All right, and let's refresh on here. Did I not save the page of, okay. Let's go back to edit with etch. Let's go here, school. That's what I was doing here to hide the header and footer only on the school, right? I selected the body. So if the body has this particular section, let's select the header and footer and display none on them. That was just like a little shortcut hack to doing it there. All right, let's go here. And this is all the same site, right? I'm in like too many tabs. Sandbox, sandbox, sandbox. Okay, good. All right, let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go here. Mobile. There you go. So it's red on mobile. Now, is it red on desktop? No, that's what it looks like on desktop. So we have to know that data attribute exists. This is why it would all be documented. You have to know that data attribute exists, that you have an identifier between when is it in desktop, when is it in mobile, where the data attribute exists, because that's part of the selector that you're trying to get. So you're doing the nav when it's in that state, then the ampersand, which selects the thing that you're actually styling within, and then you add whatever styles you want, and now suddenly you're only affecting the mobile state there. So it's advanced a little bit, but you know, that's the nature of building advanced components, right? Now, I'll be abstracting a lot of that to just variables, which I already started to do. So let me go back to our index and our header. So check this out. This is what you'll see more of. If I edit this component and I go to the actual nav, so we have flexnav, which is all like the core code, and then flexnav custom, which is literally just, okay, when it's desktop, we're gonna do these things. When it's mobile, we're gonna do these things. And we have that, you can see exactly what's happening here. So here's the entire flexnav. Here is the drop down. Let me zoom in. We have the items, we have the drop downs, we have the main nav. Here's the context of when it's in desktop. Here's the context of when it's in mobile, okay? So it's gonna just be like manipulate some of these things, which can also in the official component, when we have the components API, be abstracted into mini GUI options potentially even. Like the mini GUI, just giving you foresight into the possibilities of the future. The mini GUI could actually be made contextual. You know these options that you have? Like this? These can be made contextual to the component that you have selected. Because, for example, if you select a component from the outside, you have no styling options. But you could see a mini GUI that when you click the things, maps is all programmed by the creator of the component to map to things specific to the actual component. Like that's a possibility. So like, that's why I say we haven't even scratched the surface. Okay, so let's get back to questions. All right, and then we've got about, let's see, 11, 12, 1. We got 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Yes, this is the year we stop knocking and we just kick the door down. I already showed this. It literally, if you design it to be responsive, it will work on mobile. Now, whether it should have all that stuff on mobile, that's up to you. You have the visibility of hide it on mobile, show it on desktop. But it's fully responsive all the way down. Okay, I will answer this question because it's been asked 5 times now. And I promise to ask it or answer it in every WDD live. And you can even see here, she's asking for a friend. She's seen it asked before. How to convey, let me put it back up. how to convey the importance of best practices to clients without getting too technical with them and losing them. So this is contextual to what you are actually talking about. If it's something like accessibility, I think it's maybe a little bit more important to explain some of the technical nature. If it is classes, like a class first workflow, variable first workflow, loops, components, all of these systems, the systems approach, and we'll talk about this more when we get to S5 in PB101. You don't really have to dig into the technical nature all that much. What you have to explain are the nightmare scenarios. That's what you want to communicate to your clients. So I always painted the picture for my client. Again, we're talking to Bev. All right, Bev. What ends up happening is, she's got 3 proposals on the table. And proposal number 1 is $1,500. And your proposal is $12,000. And then she has another proposal for $8,000, something like that. You might be the most expensive, okay? Now you're gonna be talking to Bev and you're gonna say, look, I don't know what this $8,000 agency is gonna do, but I will give you some questions that you should ask them. What I do know is that the $1,500 agency is off the table, Bev. This is gonna be an absolute disaster, a nightmare for you. I'm about to explain why. Now the $8,000 agency may do everything the way we do it, and they're just cheaper. And if that's the case, Bev, you should go with them. You should choose them. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you some questions you need to ask them, and the answers are gonna tell you what you need to know, Bev. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna train her to have this conversation. Because I'm gonna explain to you, Bev, you cannot make this decision on money. If you make this decision on money, that is a terrible business decision, because that $1,500 site could cost you $15,000 later. If I'm telling you it's costing $15,000 to build this site or $12,000 or whatever, that's how much you're gonna end up paying after you pay the $1,500 and realize that that money just got lit on fire. So you cannot make this decision on money. You've got to make this decision on logic. And I'm gonna explain to you what you're looking for. And then I don't know how this other agency is gonna do it at 8,000. You're gonna go ask them some questions, you're gonna have a conversation, you're gonna feel them out, okay? But I'm gonna coach you through this. So now automatically, what's happening? One, Bev is looking at you or me, right, as the person who's educating her on this. Like, she doesn't know what's going on under the hood, and who's really gonna break this stuff down for her, But are we gonna get into, well, it's gotta have a class first workflow, Bev, and it's gotta have variables, and it's gotta have a framework, and it's got, no, we're not gonna talk about that. We're gonna say, because here's the deal, Bev. I've been in this game a very long time. I can't tell you how many people knock on my door and ring my phone, and they have a site built with a template, or on Wix, or on Squarespace, or on Elementor, or on Divi, and it's an absolute mess. They ask the agency, they say, hey, we need to add this whole section of the website. They keep telling me how hard this is gonna be, how complicated, how much work this is gonna take, how much time. It's the same story over and over and over again. They say I'm limited on certain types of functionality that I've been asking for. I'm limited on I'm just tired of it, right? And then they say, can you take it over? And I gotta break it to you, Bev. I go in and I look at the sites and I say, I can't take this over. This is an absolute nightmare, okay? What needs to be done cannot be done, or even if it could be done, it would be so expensive and time consuming, and then we would still have all of the architectural problems that currently exist. Bev, the site needs to be rebuilt. And I'm telling her, I'm like, hey, people come to me over and over and over again in this situation. And sometimes, Bev, what happens is they just had the site done last year. And sometimes they spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 for a site with horrible architecture. And I've got to break it to them that all that money got lit on fire. I'm sorry. This site cannot be managed properly. It was not built for management. It was built for existence. It was checking a box, okay? They took your project, they took your check, and they checked a box. That's what that site was built for. It was not built to be easily managed. It was not built to be easily scaled. Bev, when I build sites, if you say I need a whole new landing page structure for the ad campaign that we're running, hey, no problem, whipping that up. And it's going to be built on the same architecture that all your other site was built on. Hey, you need an e-commerce baked in. Hey, gotcha. Taken care of. No problem. No worries, right? Whatever you request, whatever you ask for, not only are we able to add it, it's easy to add it. And it's easy to keep it managed with all the other stuff that already exists. And we're not going to tell you it's going to take 30 hours to build it in because there's so many limitations with the architect. We're not going to be telling you these things, okay? If the designer comes back, has to redesign things, easy to make those changes. No problems. Easy, right? So you're explaining the actual scenario that they are going to run into. They're going to run into content editing scenarios where they won't let me in. They won't let me edit this stuff. Want to edit? Okay. Well, we can make it easily editable. I can show them the workflow. I can pull it up and say, look, this is how you would be able to change your team members, for example. You want to just remove a team member because you fired them or they left or whatever. Here's how you would be able to do that. You want to add a new team member when you hire someone. Here's how you would be able to do that. I'm showing her, right? And she's looking at that video. She's looking on the Zoom. She's looking at my screen going, I can't do that in my current website. I can't do that in my current website. I can't do that. What conclusion is she coming to, right? We're not talking about classes and variables and JavaScript and this and that and custom post types and custom fields. We're not talking about any of that. I'm just showing her. And she's going, oh, I don't have any of that on my site, right? I show her how easy it is to add a new landing page. Guys, you gotta, I'm doing this series with Mark Zamansky. And just on a whim, I was just like, hey, what if you were gonna do a landing page campaign? And I showed how to whip up a landing page and then get Gutenberg to add the blocks so that when they go to add a new landing page, they just click add new and the blocks are all sitting right there for them. They just fill them out, hit publish, new landing page deployed. If I showed that to a client, if you showed that to a client, you should do that in Etch. I have a tutorial for it. It's in the community. You should just do that as a demonstration and get on every sales call you get on. Go have that just sitting off to the side and then be like, let me show you something. Let me show you something about how you can deploy, how easy it would be to deploy something new to your website. Screen share, they see that. They're going to be like, done deal. Like, where do I sign? That's the kind of stuff you talk about. That's the kind of stuff you show them. And you talk about the nightmare scenarios that literally happen day in and day out in this industry, where people are building absolute garbage and then it doesn't work, or there's a limitation, or the agency disappears, or whatever, and it can't be managed by anybody else because it was built like an absolute shit show. And now they're in a situation where the whole thing's got to be rebuilt, and now it's another $15,000. We don't want to get in that scenario. And so they see the risk. And then I tell them, I'm like, all right, Bev, here's what you're going to go ask this other agency. Do they do this? And let's pull this up, okay? I'm going to give you this too. If you're in the inner circle, you should be deploying this thing, okay? Let's see, where did we put it? We went to sales and money probably, let's see. Or did I put it in resources? Maybe I put it in resources, agency resources. Here it is. Okay. Okay, this is a Notion document, but what you do is you deploy this. You can deploy this as a custom post type on your site. You can run ads to it. You can just send it as a link to customers, okay? Can I zoom in? Good web design, this is the intro. Good web design agencies can make your business boatloads of money, and the bad ones can cost you big time. There are no certifications, licensing boards, or anything else to help guide you. Don't sign anything until you've read this guide. What this guide is a guide for prospects to learn what makes a great website and not a great website, what makes a great agency and not a great agency. We start with the truth about modern web design, and I've got this all commented out of why this does a twofold task. You should literally study this, okay? This does a twofold task. It educates them, and it also sells them on you. Whoever's doing this education for them is who they're going to work with at the end of the day. There is a very low chance, even if you are 30% more expensive than the next person, or 50% more expensive than the next person. If it's a $5,000 difference, $10,000 difference, when they read this or hear it from you out of your mouth, it's almost a done deal. It's a wrap, okay? because you're educating them on, they literally cannot go sign a contract with somebody else because they will ask those people the things that this trains them to ask in those conversations, and they will immediately realize that they're not getting the right answers. And they're gonna come right, like it literally says, take this, read it, go interview 10 agencies. I don't care how many you interview. You'll be right back here tomorrow, okay? This is invaluable, right? It leads them through. What should the website do? How should it be constructed? When you're on the phone with these people, what should they be saying? What should you be hearing? When they send you a proposal, what should be in it? What is missing? What is not missing? What are they lying about? The price, what should the price be? Oh, they said $1,500? That's a fucking fairy tale, okay? Immediately get rid of them. So all of you people like that, you're like, oh, Kevin, I can't raise my prices. No, you can't keep your prices where they are and get good clients. All the good clients that know this stuff right here are never going to choose you. You're only going to get the shitty clients who have no idea what they're doing with their checkbook, okay? Price, the process. What should the process be that we go through to build a website? How should you be involved in that process? The management and the marketing that needs to happen and should happen after the website is deployed. This educates them in a way where their only conclusion is to realize, like the agencies out there that actually follow this, like internally, okay, is like 5 to 10% of agencies, okay? Just like I showed you the other day, when you cross your T's and dot your I's with the head, even something as simple as the heading structure on a page. And then you go to Stripe or BBC or New York Times or what, and it's a fucking disaster. Excuse me, fucking disaster. That's kind of like the web development industry. There's a lot of disaster out there. There's a lot of bad things. And it's not just bad with the architecture of the website, it's bad with their sales process. It's bad with the actual process of building the website with you. I get phone call after phone call. Kevin, I don't know what's going on my website with these people. I hired them 6 months ago. I got no website. I can't get them on the phone. They won't show me the progress. These are the nightmare scenarios that we hear all the time, right? This prepares the client for that reality. And essentially, they get the idea that if I don't hear the right things from these people, I cannot sign on the line with them. There's too much at risk. I cannot give them $10,000 of my money if I don't hear the right things. And it just so happens, percentage-wise and what's going on in the industry, they can call 10 people. And the only person they're going to hear the right shit from is you. And the conclusion is obvious at that point. I got to go with, I got no choice. It's not like they're going to call up 10 agencies and they all are saying the right things. They're all going to slip up. They're all going to say some bullshit, okay? And this teaches the prospect how to spot the bullshit. How to spot the bullshit and the shit that doesn't exist that you should be hearing but you aren't hearing. It's just really, really phenomenal. So, and you should literally train yourself on your sales approach around that document, but not like gaming it. It should literally be how you operate. That should literally be how you operate. Then you just talk facts, and then everybody that you talk to comes to the conclusion that yeah, you should probably be the person I work with for sure. That's kind of, and that does not really, to answer your question, that's literally the answer to your question. Like, it doesn't go heavy into technical details. That is the thing you should be communicating to your client right there. All right, I think we're going to end on that. Let me get back to chat real quick. All right, I didn't want the the Gutenberg part of this, the opening to be as spicy as it was, but it's just, it's hard to help it. Hopefully you guys will forgive me. The doc is in the inner circle. It is under resources. And there's even, ideas for how to deploy it and all of that stuff. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this is the reality of it. It's not, you can, when you read it, you'll understand, So let's go to let's give them a little taste, right? Okay. Proposals shouldn't read like a sales brochure, and they shouldn't be informing you of things for the first time. Here's what a proposal should say and do, right? We talk about the proposal process. And I say, which of these outcomes are you hoping for, right? This is not an extension of the sales phase. A good proposal takes all the stuff you talked about and puts it in writing in a very matter-of-fact way. Here's what you should expect to see in a proposal. Details about the agency, blah, 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 right? It should not be blatant sales literature. You should already know whether or not you want to work with the agency before they ever send you a proposal. If you feel like the proposal is just trying to sell you on the project with hype and promises, or you receive a proposal before all the details have been discussed, it's a red flag. Additionally, if the proposal, it's just facts. You're just facts, right? Here's a full list of red flags to watch out for. No formal proposal or casual emails. No details about the process or workflow. No statement of work or a full list of deliverables. I go into detail on like, how insane is it that you got a proposal and it doesn't have a statement of work? They don't even know what a statement of work is. Like, so now every agency that sends them a proposal that doesn't have a statement of work, they're going to be like, well, they're out. Oh, well, they're out. Well, they're out, right? The idea, because you explain why the statement of work is so important. Here's what always happens. So my statement of work lists every single deliverable, every possible thing that we are going to ship, down to it's going to have a contact form. It's going to have an estimate form. It's going to work like this. It's literally a table of like maybe 120 items, okay? It's got every page, every sub-page, wireframes, wireframe for this, design for this, dev, this. Okay, it's the whole list of what's going to be delivered. Because when you don't include that, and they haven't signed that, here's what always happens. Bev comes in. You're 3 months into the project. And she goes, remember that we talked about that we were going to build? And then you're like, no, Bev, remember we said we weren't going to build that. And she's like, no. The way I remember it is we were going to build that. And now you're in this back and forth battle with the client. And you have there's no proof. There's no deciding factor. But with a statement of work, you just go, hey, Bev, remember this? See all the things on it? Your thing ain't there. See your signature on the bottom? There it is, right? It protects both people. Because what if Bev is right? What if we did agree to build it? And then Bev turns around and goes, see that? See that list? See your signature down there? You said you were going to build it. And then I go, fuck, all right, I guess we got to build it, right? It protects both people. So acknowledging that it protects both people, guess what? It should be there, shouldn't it? It should absolutely be. They're not sending you a statement of work? That's wild. You're going to hire an agency that didn't send you a statement of work? Wow. Big risk you're taking there. Big risk you're taking. See, this is just one of the things that it educates them on. By the time they read all these pages and get this full understanding of all this stuff they should see and that's happening, look at this. Here's the process your site should go through. Discovery, copywriting. Pick any one of these. They're not doing discovery? What kind of agency doesn't do discovery? Bev, that's a red flag, right, Bev? Bev, they were going to have you write the content. That's unimaginable, Bev. That's wild. Bev, are you a copywriter? Bev, do you have any experience writing marketing and sales copy on the internet? Wait, how many winning funnels have you deployed, Bev? Oh, 0. They were going to have you do it. Oh, and that's the biggest, most important, that's the most important part of the website, Bev. They were going to put that in your hands. Got to be honest, Bev. That's a big red flag. That's a big red flag. I wouldn't want to do business with that agency, Bev. Wireframing. So now Bev goes into a call with my competitor and goes, well, do you guys do discovery? Oh, what's that? They're fumbling around. Well, do you guys handle the copyright? Well, usually we have the client write the copy. Clients like that. And then Bev's just like, fuck, red flag. Okay. Do you guys do wireframe? Well, no, we usually do the dev in the design in the dev environment. And she's like, red flag there. Do you guys do design separately? Like, do I get Figma files? Do I get Adobe XD file? Do I get, well, no, Bev, we did, red flag, right? Development, here's what you should look for. Launch, see, they can't, so many agencies once a prospect is empowered with what's in this document, so many of your competitors, if you're doing these things, they can't survive the phone call. You can literally give this information to your prospect and go, now go call a bunch of people. I don't care how many you call. And by the way, what did I say is the number one sales thing, like the attribute that you need in sales? Let's do a pop quiz, and then we're getting out of here. I got to get out of here. I'm having so much fun. It's the first stream back of 2026. Pop quiz. What's the number one attribute you need in every sales conversation? We've been over this a million times in multiple WDD lives, in multiple trainings in the inner circle. We go over this a million times. What is the one thing you need? Hit it in the chat. I'll even give you a hint. It's 2 words. It's 2 words. Does anybody have it? Get to the keyboard. Does anybody know? 10, 9, 8, 7. There it is. Positive indifference. Bev, I would love to work with you. I think this project is fantastic. I'm really excited about it. Our team would love to work on this kind of thing. I've educated you now on what you need to look for. I'm sure you're going to go look for, get other bids from other agencies and potentially freelancers and such. I've given you kind of everything you need to know and look out for in your journey. I encourage you to go get at least 3 other bids and then give me a call if you want to do business. All right. We would love to work on the project. That is like the idea and by the way, so she's going to call up other people for sure. And we're just acknowledging the facts. Like, are we, like so many salespeople are saying, hold on, we can't get off the phone until you make a decision. I know you got to talk to your business partner, but we really need to make a decision right now. They hate that shit, don't they? Don't you hate that? Do you want to be in that situation? No, nobody wants to be in that situation. When you come in with the confidence of, look, I know you're going to go get 3 other bids. Let me make sure you understand how this all should work and what you should be looking for when you talk to these people, because it's the wild, wild west out there. So I'm gonna equip you, and then I'm gonna encourage you to go talk to at least 3 other people and get the bids. And by the way, if you really love them and there's no red flags and they're cheaper than us, come back to me. We'll have a conversation about it. Okay. But I'm encouraging you. I want you to go talk to other people, and I want you to come back. If you want to work with them, work with them. If you want to work with me. We would love to have it, but that's the end of the story. Okay. I'm gonna send you all this in writing. Then they're gonna get the proposal in writing. That attitude of like, okay, we have somebody on the line that is confident, that is educating me on how this all should work, that clearly is not desperate for business, doesn't need my business, but said that they really wanted to work on my project. I liked them. I got a lot of value out of the conversation. And now I'm better equipped to have these other conversations. Just the feeling of that is like they're in your camp. They're in your camp. They know. Okay. Hey, they got a solid option to come back to. And then if they actually go outreach, they're going to have conversations, and it's just going to be in every one of these sections. It's like, wish you shouldn't have said that. Oh, you really said that. Oh, and then their conclusion is always, I got to go back to the source. I got to go back to the first guy I talked to. And then you just sit around and ring. Oh, hey, Bev. Yeah. You're not going to tell them I knew you'd be back, but I mean, that was the foregone conclusion, you know? They can't, these other agencies, they can't survive phone calls with an educated prospect most of the time, okay? So you got to be the one to educate them. You got to be the one to encourage them to go talk to others so that they can see the disaster that's out there. All right. That's it. We had a contractor give us a quote for crawl space mitigation. He came back 4 times reducing his quote. What a clown. Yeah. So, and we could talk all about like, well, what if they do like this other agency, but they're cheaper and they come back to you and, do you discount or do you do something else? I'll give you a hint. You don't ever discount. You never discount. You never knock the price down. That's never what you do. But there are other ways to win. These are the things we talk about in the Inner Circle live streams that we just restarted for 2026 every single month. We have an agency live stream. We also have a dev live stream just for Inner Circle members. Those are the kind of stuff that we talk about in those business live streams. You get a lot of insider baseball. Okay. All right. I gotta get out of here. You know, I got other things to do. We got a lot of work to do. Okay. All right. Love you guys. Peace.